Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Noodlez Bowl. Today the topic is School Days, one of the worst animes to ever exist in the league of romance animes. But before I even go too deep into why this show is absolute booty juice, I need you to go watch it if you haven't already watched it because there will be spoilers in this video. And once you go watch it, come back and watch this video. But you need to go watch that first before you watch this video because I will be saying things that happen in the anime because it's technically an anime review and that's how these things go. Now you might be thinking, Mr. Noodles, why do you think this show is absolute booty juice? And to that I say, okay. I'm probably a little harsh on the show, but imagine being a fresh romance slash love anime slash slice of life anime enjoyer, right? You're one of those, and those are not bad. I know I say it kind of bad when I say you're one of those, but it's not a bad thing. I'm one of those. Imagine being that, and you hear about this show. The synopsis says Makoto, who was head over heels in love with Kotonoha, has his phone screen literally saved as this woman. He has a crush on her. He rides the same train as her. He goes to the same school as her. This is his high school crush. And he also has a best friend who goes there and also is in love with him. Now you're probably in your head like, what? That sounds like fire. That sounds like exactly what I need in my life. I need to watch this. This sounds like one of the best anime tropes I've ever seen. Like, of course, you want a three-way love triangle. Oh my god, that sounds amazing in a romance anime. I mean, look at Toradora. I mean, look at other shows. You're like April. Like, there's so many three-way love triangles that go absolutely spectacular. But this show just somehow manages to absolutely fuck all of that up. Okay. So I'm like, this man Makoto was head over heels for Kotonoha. I mean, you know how much love you have to have for a person to take a picture, an off guard picture of them, and then save it as your background. Because in this universe, if you do that, you guys will magically fall in love without you ever talking to her and blah 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 blah. It's just how it works in this anime, because that's some high school trope type stuff. And in this universe, that is a true thing. Like, I feel like you give it a couple of more episodes of him just having her as his background, and then he would have been good. All the things that happened wouldn't have even had to happen. They would have it just would have, it would have just been that. But unfortunately, Sakai, his best friend, came and saw it, and she just decided, let's not have happiness. Let's actually have the worst time that you can possibly have ever. So as time progresses, Kotonoha and Makoto eventually start dating because Sakai was the wingman or wing woman in a sense, and kind of hooked these two up, which, in my opinion, show should have ended there. But mission accomplished. Makoto and Kotonoha are dating. That mission accomplished. But for some reason, they decided, you fuck purity. Forget all wholesomeness. We're going to make sure that every single person that ever watches this anime feels me. Like, this is this. They're gonna make sure that when you think of School Days, you think of tragedy, heartbreak, and betrayal. Oh man, it just gets so bad because this is one example. Makoto and Kotonoha were literally going to go somewhere for a date. I don't even remember where they were going for a date, but they were going somewhere for a date. And as he's waiting by the train to go get, or no, Kotonoha is coming to him and he's waiting on the train station. Sakai sees him, runs up to him, steals a kiss. After the kiss, says, "Have a good date." Gets on a train, leaves. What? What? So obviously on Kotonoha's and Makoto's date, it doesn't go well because all he can think about is, she kissed me. Oh, she kissed me. I've never kissed a woman before. This is a new feeling. I don't know what to do. I have been kissed, and it was an unprovoking kiss. Hold on, I have a girlfriend, Kotonoha. Let me see if I can kiss her. Um, you guys just started dating. She's not weird like Sakai, so obviously when he tries to go in for a kiss, she denies it. And that just those two things, bro. Sakai just ruins everything, man. Like, oh, like she just ruins everything because man, so many things would have happened. But since their date got ruined and Sakai felt like, I'm the reason. I am 100% the reason. You can have these two movie tickets. Go get her again, sport. And in that sense, she had a good she had good intentions, but they weren't really positive good intentions. She just wanted to, I messed up, so let me right my wrongs with these movie tickets. And it kind of she if she would have kept that same energy, the anime would have been totally different. But he says, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna go to this movie with my girlfriend because she's my girlfriend, and I don't want to cheat on my girlfriend at least now. I know I've already spoiled it, but um, he then goes on his date with Kotonoha again, and he tries to get intimate with her, and of course she denies it again because of course she would. You creep! Why are you trying to go so fast in this relationship and you know that she's a pure girl, because it's the difference when you date somebody and you know what they're about and you try to do things, and it depends on really how you are, if you get what I'm saying. Because if I know that she's pure, if I know that she doesn't do intimate things, she doesn't do hand holding, she doesn't do kisses on the cheek, she doesn't do hickeys on the neck, she doesn't do tongue biting. I'm not gonna try to do all of those things with this girl because she already let me know from the jump. I ain't like that. Don't try that with me. Type stuff, or at least like work your way there to where you can kind of get them comfortable, and then you do that. You don't just first date. I'm gonna bite your ear. Like what? Like what? And this is exactly what Makoto was trying to do, and it doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense. Why would she do that? Just because Sakai snuck a kiss from you, not all girls are gonna try to sneak a kiss from you, and you shouldn't try to sneak a kiss. I mean, it makes sense because yeah, she's your girlfriend. You should, if you want to try to do anything with anybody, it should be your girlfriend. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that. You just don't do that. Lee Makoto apologizes to Katana. He's like, I am being a horn dog. I need to chill out. I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. So it's then when Katana is like, oh, he's actually a good dude. I'll give him a kiss as a reward for apologizing. And after that, they have a wholesome little day. Katana takes him back to her place and don't do anything crazy. He just plays with Kotonoha's sister, and then it's just a wholesome day. It's just really just a wholesome experience. Like everything about that is just positive energy. Like they're just playing around, having fun. Kotonoha's little sister says, "You'd be a cool big brother," and they have like this whole little cliche anime fun time. Like it was just cool. Because I know how I actually took a little step here and said how in Japan it's kind of like you don't say people's first names because that's kind of like it's like rude. You always use the honorific. I mean, like you would say my last name instead of saying my first name because it's my family name and my family name means a lot more to me than my first name basically. And it's rude to call somebody by their first name in Japan for some reason. Um, so they, since they're dating, and Kotonoha will take another step with him, and because she sees that he's kind of like an intimate horn dog. She's like, "Oh, you want to call me by my first name?" And he's like, "Sure, I don't care." Like in a dick move kind of way, it's weird, but he's like, "Yeah, sure, of course, because we're dating." Or she'd been already calling each other by our first names, and they end up calling each other by their first names. It's a cool little cute moment until he goes home, calls Sakai, and says, "You know, dating Kotonoha is the most tiring thing I could ever do." Oh, Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean it's the most tiring thing? What do you mean it's the most tiring thing? You don't deserve this perfect flower that you have that you wanted so badly, but now you're tired. Why are you tired? Like 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 oh my, like I wish the show stayed like this. I wish it was just a back and forth between that, but it gets a little bit, no pun intended, it gets a little bit deeper than you would ever intend. Like it gets way deeper than you would ever think. Eventually, Kotonoha and him, they do different things. They didn't do anything intimate, and when he tries to do intimate things, she obviously denies it because she's not that kind of person. Kind of already said in that prerequisite. He still tries these things though, and she just keeps denying it and is like, I'll do that when the time is right. Don't do it right now, but when the time is right, you'll get that." Which is okay. Don't force your ideals on a girl. If she doesn't want to do that, don't you can't. That's what it's called when you do things without consent. Don't do that. That's not cool. I'm laughing, but I'm serious. Don't do things without consent. So they end up having a pool party to like smooth down the whole little mood of the situation because obviously you keep telling your boyfriend no, eventually he's gonna get mad. Blah 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 blah. So Makoto ends up going to Sakai because she's like the wing woman, and he's like, I don't know what to do to get to the next level because for some reason he really wants to get to the next level. Obviously, boys are horn dogs. Most boys are just horn dogs in general. So I think he just really wanted to get her to that state and be able to freely get her to that state. If you get what I'm saying. So Sakai's like, stop, chill out. He's like, no, I want to do this. So teach me how to do it. And she's like, okay. They go to the rooftop where Kotonoha and Koto always eat lunch, which is the craziest place for them to then have lessons about how to get intimate with a person that then turn from lessons to I can't say the next part because I will get demonetized. So yeah, that happens. That happens. These lessons turn into actual things, and nothing crazy, but something crazy if you know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't help that in this scenario, they get dressed from doing whatever they were doing. Wink, wink, kissy faces, and all that. That Sakai confesses to Makoto, and at this point, if anything, if we hadn't just witnessed that whole scene, what just happened, and also, just things happen in general where Sakai's like being, at this point, you'd be like, okay, I mean, this is okay, I guess. I mean, I feel like I'm just not feeling the love triangle anymore. I'm not feeling that vibe. And you know who also isn't feeling that vibe? Kotonoha, who just happens to hear Sakai confessing to Makoto because she's watching them. She watched the whole thing, saw it all that, saw it. She saw it, and then it gets even worse because his friend named Setsuna, that it's like all of these guys are friends with this person. Since Sakai says that they're dating now, people think, oh, that he's not dating Kotonoha anymore. Kotonoha's free, blah blah blah. Setsuna, being a better friend of Sakai than Kotonoha, she tries to push Kotonoha away to the point that she even blocks Kotonoha's number in Makoto's phone. Crazy, right? That's 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 like, imagine that. Imagine somebody blocking the phone of your boyfriend and their girlfriend, and you're still dating that person because they think that you're dating somebody else who only said that they loved you, and they're your, oh man, like that would be crazy in a real life setting. This is anime though. You can't be painting things in a real life setting when it comes to anime. But this absolute scum, this absolute trash bag of a human, Makoto, he's like, oh, maybe I did cut to know how wrong. Maybe this isn't how it should go. Maybe I am a douchebag. Let's go rekindle things with Kotonoha, because he wasn't really dating Sakai, but he was doing things with Sakai on the roof when he wasn't eating with Kotonoha. 'Cause he always kept eating with Kotonoha after the stuff he did. He would go eat with his girlfriend. He would go eat lunch in school hours with his girlfriend. Like that's crazy, bro. Anyways, he would go eat lunch with his girlfriend, and that would be a whole little thing. Um, he said, you know, she brought up the fact that he hadn't called her, texted her. He's not responding to the text messages, calls, anything like that. When he used to always do that because Setsuna blocked her number out of his phone, which is why that was happening. So then Kotonoha gets aggressive with him because she's like, okay, I'm just gonna take this horse by the reins. She gets very, very aggressive, if you know what I mean. She gets very aggressive to match his pace, match his energy. Like, okay, this is what you want. This is what I'm gonna give you, type stuff. And then Makoto and her, she unblocks herself in his phone and all that stuff. She sees that she's black and is like, unblock. Like, it's weird that she doesn't do anything else. She just unblocks herself and just keeps it pushing, literally and figuratively. Um, they end up making a promise to dance at this school festival type shindig that they always have annually at the school. It's weird. And then they have a bonfire that they dance right next to, and supposedly when you dance to this fight, it's a whole lot of theories and prophecies in this anime. But this one is that if you dance to the bonfire, you guys are going to be linked together, and you're going to be a forever couple and all this other stuff. Oh, so the plot thickens as Sakai skipping school because she doesn't want to ruin the thing that Kotonoha has with Makoto. Makoto doesn't really care because he's just like, if it's this easy to get with Sakai and it's this easy to get with Kotonoha, I wonder how easy it is to get with other girls, like the scumbag that he is. So he goes setting up the festival and all that other stuff. He ends up running into the girls' basketball team. I think you know where this is going. They go in a room. He goes on a frenzy to not get demonetized. That's all I'm gonna say. He goes on a frenzy with the girls' basketball team. It gets really bad. It gets really bad. He ends up in the infirmary for some. I can't remember why he was in the infirmary, but Setsuna, who was trying to push Kotonoha away from Makoto, ends up developing feelings for Makoto, and then he goes to sleep. I remember he was hurt for some reason, or probably was just exhausted from the frenzy, the festival frenzy, and she kisses him while he's asleep, and Kotonoha is in the door watching that moment play out. I don't know why she didn't say anything, if I'm being 100% honest. You see that and you don't say anything? If I see a man kiss my sleeping girlfriend, I don't know what I'm going to do to that man, but it's not going to be a pretty sight. I mean, it's just me. I mean, this Tetsuna is like short too. She's like 4'5", and Kotonoha is at least like 5'6". Like it's probably not accurate height, but she's at least that taller over her. But it's weird. It's weird. The whole thing is just weird. The whole thing is just very weird, from the frenzy to the kissing sleeping people to the stealing kisses from people to the intimate time on rooftops to the everything is just weird at this point. And it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse because now the festival is here. Kotonoha is looking for Makoto, and she's like going through classrooms, searching because she wants to hurry up and find him for this bonfire, because he made a promise to her to dance at this bonfire. That was the whole point. They wanted to dance at this festival bonfire so they could be forever linked as an amazing couple. Sakai, for some reason, comes to school. Weird, very weird. Makoto is looking for Kotonoha. I mean, I know why, but at this point, I don't think you believe in wanting to be with her forever. But that's just me personally. I don't think he really believes in that. But it doesn't matter. He's searching for her. He then runs into Sakai, and then it gets bad because this dude named Taisuke, he thinks that Kotonoha is free. She's off the market. It's also a saying at this that if you get intimate with somebody around the bonfire in this classroom that's in view of the bonfire, then you're linked with that person forever. So Kotonoha have an intuition thinking that he's probably gonna be with Sakai somewhere. She thinks the worst. She goes to this room where people do things at. Taisuke sees her in there and is like, her and Makoto aren't dating anymore. She's free game. She's in this room. She's trying to get linked with somebody. She gonna get linked with me because she's my crush. The only problem with that is that he didn't ask. He kind of just did. He forced unspoken, unconsented lessons because he thought that she wasn't dating. He's also Makoto's friend. He thought it was okay to get unconsented, unspoken lessons from Kotonoha because she wasn't dating Makoto, which is crazy in its own right. And then after the unspoken, unconsented lessons, she looks out the door with something dripping out. Anyways, you see like a trail of white behind her as she's limping to the door. It's crazy. This anime. It's wild. Fuck wild. She looks out the door, and I might have to cut that out. I might have to cut that out. Anyways, she gets to the door, looks out, looks at the bonfire, and guess what she sees? You wouldn't believe it. It's Sakai and Makoto dancing at the bonfire. And as you would assume after getting unspoken, inconsistent lessons and seeing that the person that she just made a promise with dancing at a bonfire with the girl who was skipping school because she didn't want to interact with her and all this other stuff, she broke down crying because of course she would. You would too. Like, you would too. Like, and it sucks. Like you feel bad for Kotonoha in this show. Like with all the stuff I just said, like, bro, you feel bad for Kotonoha. You think after that though, the show couldn't possibly get worse, and yeah, it does. It still gets bad. It gets worse. It gets even worse than it was at first. So now, since she has gotten those unspoken lessons and all that, she's in a rut. She's absolutely distraught. So Setsuna sees her friend Sakai and her crush dancing at this bonfire. So she goes to his house like a Saturday or something. I don't know when they're off school, but they're off school this day. And she goes to his house and is like, "Okay, I don't know what's going on with you, no, I don't know what's going on with you and Sakai, but you gotta cut ties with everybody because I know what you did. I know what you did with that full team of girls that play basketball. I know what you did. You're gonna cut ties with everybody except Sakai because I want you to be with Sakai. I don't want you to be with me. I don't want you to be with Kotonoha. I don't want you to be with any one of those girls off the basketball team. I want you to be with Sakai. And in exchange for you making this promise, you get a peach emoji. You get some peach emoji. I can't find the words to say to describe, but she exchanged her goods for that promise. And unfortunately, He agreed, obviously, because he's a horn dog, and he wanted the goods very badly. Anyways, unfortunately, they go back to school. Everybody goes back to school. Sakai, Katanoha, Koto. I don't know what Katanoha was going back to school at that point. I think she stopped for like 3 days. Um, but anyways, the video of the basketball girls and Makoto, his festival frenzy, as I call it, went viral in the school. Everybody knew about it. Um, and Sakai saw the video because obviously, and she's like, "How could you do that?" You know, all that other stuff. You know what you would say to somebody who did that to you. Got really bad between Sakai and them, and then Sakai apparently missed her period, and she was throwing up. And if you know about pregnancy, then you think the same thing that Sakai thought. And she said, "Oh snap, I'm pregnant with Makoto's baby." And then she went back to school and said, "Hey everybody, oh snap, I'm pregnant with Makoto's baby." And every other girl in the school was like, "Oh God, she's pregnant with Makoto's baby." So no other girl in the school wanted to do anything with Makoto. And yeah, that was just a result of that. So considering he couldn't get any other girl because everybody didn't want that pregnancy cheese touch, um, Makoto settles with Sakai because he's like, "I can't get any other girl. This is my life. This is the life this is the cards I was dealt, and I'm gonna play this game." Which is admirable because he's like, "I have a kid. I'm gonna raise a kid," which is admirable for a scumbag like him. That's actually I'm actually salute him for that because you think after all he's done he wouldn't do that, but I stand corrected. He's like, "Yeah, you go ahead and come to my house. I'm taking care of you because you got my kid," type stuff, and he's obviously sad and distraught about it, but it's like it's a growth moment. In my opinion, I salute him. I salute him because he's willing to be a father. That's a W moment. That's a W moment. So Sakai is at his house cooking him meals and all this other stuff. They're just living like the marriage life because dad gonna be dad. He just he just just feeling good, and but he's still like distraught about everything that happened in high school because I think they dropped out of school. I don't know what happened with school. I don't know. At that point, I don't know what happened with school. I don't even know if the anime continued showing school progress. I think they just said, "Forget school. We're focused on Sakai and Makoto's marriage, impromptu marriage at least." So at that point, he just went outside into the cold. He just took a walk around the block because he's thinking about all the stuff that happened. Because obviously, how could you not? And on that walk, he just so happens to bump into a soul-shattered Kotonoha who has been through hell and back from the unspoken, unconsented lessons with Taisuke and just being abandoned by Makoto. And I feel like it was the unspoken, unconsented lessons that really, really did that damage. But, seeing Makoto dance at the bonfire, being left the first time, then being left again for a pregnant woman, so that means you already know what that happened. Then the video went viral, so she saw him go on a killing spree with how many girls on the basketball team? That many girls? Oh my, like that is enough to break anybody. I feel like wow, that it had to be crazy. So he sees her in an absolute poorest state possible for a human, and he's like, "Oh, I have to take responsibility for my actions because I did this to you. I did this," and he goes again, like he's bounced back and forth so many times now. Even he doesn't deserve a chance like this. It's crazy, but he's like he takes Kusunoha out for dinner. Sakai is like, "Where is he?" So she texts him and calls him, and then Makoto snaps and says, "Hey man, get out my house. I don't want you there. Get out ASAP, stat, pronto, on the ready, like, get out. I don't want you there. I need to be with the person that I want to start this journey with from the beginning. Like, I don't, I don't want to be with you type stuff. Even though you have the baby, I don't want to be with you. They ended up going back to his house, and uh, he sees off Kotonoha, and then he runs into Sakai. I think Kotonoha and him start kissing, which leaves like Sakai in like a frenzy. She's like screaming, crying, running away back to her own house. He texts her on some hard body, on some crazy stuff. He texts her a link to a clinic that Kotonoha suggested, and that's crazy. And this is the point where you think there can't be any more plot twists. You think the anime is out of milking is out of milk from the cow. It can't milk any more milk from the cow. It can't. You're wrong. There's so much milk. It's a gallon of milk. It's 3 gallons of milk. It's actually 15 gallons of milk left, and you just haven't touched the bottom of that milk. I'm sorry, you're not gonna get to the bottom of that milk. Sakai texts Makoto and is like, let's think about things. Let's talk. Let's just hash it out over some tea type stuff. Makoto, like the idiot he is, he agrees and says, yeah, let's talk. Let's come over to my house. We can have some tea. We can just talk things out. Yeah. So she texts him goodbye. No, she texted him. She texted him to apologize to me and say goodbye on some Soluminati type timing. Like that was crazy how she texted that. It just so happens though that she texted him while his phone was in another room, and they both were just talking at the table. And she's like, "I'm gonna go prep the tea. You go see who texted you." Obviously, it's her. She just told him to apologize and say goodbye. So he goes into his room, picks up his phone, and sees that she said apologize and say goodbye. And she comes in like Hatham Kenway in Assassin's Creed 3 and stabs him in the back. Like, oh, I know it hurt it. I know it hurt it. Then she skedaddles because if you play Detroit Become Human, you can't stab a person 28 times and think that it's cool. It's like stabbing etiquette. You can't stab a person like that many times. Unfortunately, after she leaves, Kotonoha comes in and sees that horrific scene. I can only imagine how Kotonoha, after being in the situation that she was already in, coming in and seeing that had to be like double traumatic. Like that had to be even more traumatic, than an unspoken, unconsented lessons. Like, wow. Like Kotonoha, you have to feel bad for Kotonoha, man. You have to. She was so pure at the beginning of this anime, and she turned into like this demon. Like, oh man, like, and trust me, the demon time is not over, because when she sees that, she picks up his blood-soaked phone and texts she picks up Makoto's blood-soaked phone and texts Sakai, "Hey, come meet me on this rooftop. It ain't over." And Sakai being like, "I just murked this man in 4K. How is he texting me? I'm gonna go see what's going on because he shouldn't be able to text me." She doesn't think Kotonoha texted her. So Kotonoha and Sakai end up meeting on a rooftop, and Kotonoha brings a duffel bag with her that we don't really see, but eventually we end up seeing. She knows that basically Sakai walks up. This is how it goes. There's a duffel bag on a chair that they always eat lunch in, and the things happen between Sakai and Makoto on that chair, and the table where they always eat lunch and all that. Then she walks up, looks at the duffel bag, like, it's a duffel bag here, anyways. Kotonoha walks up, closes the door behind her, and she's like, "Are you pregnant?" Basically, and Sakai's like, "Of course I am." Like, what? Why would I lie about that? That's the stupidest thing to lie about. Why would I lie about that? And then Kotonoha's like, "Okay, All right, cool. Behind her back, which Sakai can't see. I don't think she can. See. I don't know if she. I don't remember if she could see it or not. Just like a meat cleaver or something like that. Um, like a serrated meat cleaver. Imagine that, a serrated meat cleaver. I want to look that up and see if that actually exists. Like that's what she had, like a hacksaw, a bone saw, or something like that. Anyways, she says check the duffel bag real quick. Ask Makoto. Ask Makoto something. She said something. Ask Makoto something, and it's a very small duffel bag. Very very small duffel bag. A person can't fit in there. Makoto's not in that duffel bag. So Sakai's like, what? What are you smoking? He's not in his duffel bag. She walks over there, opens the duffel bag. It cannot be described in words. The shock, horror, and fear that she had on her face when the man she just killed, whole head, only his head, is in a duffel bag staring right back at her. Oh, like what would be going through your mind at that point? You just murked this man, and now his head is looking at you in a duffel bag. So Makoto Noha returns the favor. She does the exact same thing Sakai did to Makoto. Good little one to the back, one to the neck. And then she confirms in her own way whether or not Sakai was pregnant by surgery, to put it lightly. And obviously Sakai dies from this because you can't open a person and they not die. um, I'm laughing, but that's great. Like this whole anime is just wild. After that we see her like say like silently, "I knew you weren't pregnant." As she's like looking through to see if she's pregnant or not. And then like the anime like goes and story progresses and you see her holding his head on a private boat because she's a rich girl, so she ordered I guess a boat and she's holding his head and just like sailing off into the seven seas with his head, cuddling it. Um, I gotta say, I did definitely skip over some things just because I didn't want to be demonetized and I didn't say certain things, but you can kind of infer what happened based off of the things that I said. Uh, I know I'm skating on. I'm skating on extremely thin ice with this reaction, man. I mean, not reaction, but this thing, this Noodlez Bowl topic is extremely thin, extremely thin. I think it's thinner than the high school DxD one, and I kind of went into a little bit of detail with that one. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this show unless you want to go on 80,000 loop de loops, twists and turns of a roller coaster of an anime. But if you're into that and you're into romance and you're into slice of life anime with a twist, I would definitely recommend watching the show. It's worth it, but it's just like I hate it. And my hate for it triumphs my love for it. Because I actually really like this show, but I really hate this show. Because imagine like being like I was like a new romance. Like I watched Toradora, then I watched this basically. it set me up for like my little monster into that. Oh my gosh! Like oh my, like Toradora into that. Oh my! Like I was traumatized. I don't think I watched anime for a long time after I watched this show. Like I was absolutely traumatized. But if you want to watch the show, I'm not gonna stop you. Do it at your own volition. But if you guys enjoyed this Noodlez Bowl, man, other than Noodlez Bowl topics, I'm gonna have it in a playlist right around this area. I'm gonna have it in a playlist. Subscribe if you like this whole little way I broke down this. I feel like I did a really good job at explaining everything thoroughly. I tried to make it non boring as possible, but it still came off kind of like informative. I feel I tried my best not to do that, but it's just the way this thing is probably gonna go. It's a review. I'm reviewing the show in a way that I thought it needs to be reviewed. But yeah, I mean, I did my best. I feel. But hit that little bell, hit the like button, subscribe if you really like my content. And yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else to say. But this show is like the enigma to love anime. It's weird, It's very weird, very gory, very gruesome, but it's still a love anime at the end of the day. Other than that, I mean, I don't have anything else to say, but peace. Man, that was hard to get out. Please hit that like button.